Have you ever considered being an entrepreneur? Today, we're going to be talking about a serial entrepreneur. So, welcome back to the Crack the Code podcast. I'm your host, Cora Naylor. And today we have truly a serial entrepreneur, Anne Zuckerman. She grew up in traditional retail, and after closing her mother's lingerie shop, Anne developed and got a patent for her lingerie accessory product, Bezzy Bra Discs. That took her on a journey into online marketing, which then led to her hosting her own podcast titled Just Wanted to Ask. So welcome, Anne.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Cora. I'm thrilled to be here.
Yeah, it's so fun to talk to you because I was not a serial entrepreneur. I was from a family that didn't really have entrepreneurs. And so it's been a different kind of journey for me than what you've had. So I'm excited to, talk about that background with you.
Well,
So,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about this. Did you work in the lingerie store with your mom, or how did that get started?
Yeah. Well, I'll give you a little bit of history before that.
Yeah.
My mom and my mom and my grandparents had a lingerie shop. My mom was the buyer, and she was also trained in corset making and design, so she knew a lot about lingerie. My grandmother worked for her and took care of the inventory in the books. My grandfather did all the billing. So you can imagine, I grew up in this atmosphere of traditional retail. I graduated from high school and went off to college, and my mother and my grandmother sat me down and said, "So, when you're finished with school, you'll of course come home and come into the business." And I looked them straight in the eye and I said, "No, no way. Off. I'm not coming back." And my mother and my grandmother were at that point ready to kill me. But as things happen and we mature, I ended up coming back into the business. My grandmother passed away, and my mother needed my help. And so, after years of being on my own and working as a secretary, I went home to be in the family business, and I took over my grandmother's role. So, I took care of the inventory. And I worked with my mother for several years, and then I quit.
Oh,
I said, "No, I can't do this." I turned 40, and I could hear myself one day saying, "But mom,"
yeah.
and I said, 40-year-old people shouldn't be saying that. So I left the business and again went back out on my own. And then my mom got sick and she needed me. And so I moved back into the business. And I was there for a number of years and her health declined. She passed away, and eventually I had to close the business. So that
Yeah.
was my traditional retail part.
So then you kind of took some of that and went online?
Uh, no, what happened was it was really interesting. I saw a product and I thought, I can do better than that. And I happened to meet somebody who was an industrial design engineer. And I said, "Listen, I've seen something. I think I can do better." My mother had passed away, and I was at that point in my 50s, or yeah. Um, and I thought, if I don't do this now, if I don't take a risk now, um, then when? So, with his help, we did the design work. We submitted it for a patent, and I took everything I had and paid for the legal work that needed to be done and a prototype mold, which led to a production mold for my product. And then I had to learn all about manufacturing and what goes into manufacturing, what happens when you have a product, how do you market the product, uh, from a totally different standpoint. Because traditional retail, I grew up in a very traditional retail environment and then had to learn how to move into a totally different environment. and business.
Yeah. And coming up with your own product. 'Cause I know my husband's always saying, man, we should have invented this or should have done that. What do you come up with? And these days it seems like almost everything's already been done. So to come up with something unique, that's really cool. And had you noticed that? Like maybe you can tell the people what even the product is because we've kind of left that in the dark here.
Oh, so I manufacture and sell a product that camouflages headlights, basically a women's headlights. So I tell people that women want to be heard without distraction. If you're having a headlight moment, and most of us understand what that is, people aren't hearing what you have to say because they're focused on your chest. And I sometimes say cleavage is one thing, but headlights, no, that's way too much. So anyway, yeah, I was given an opportunity and I grabbed it.
That's
So it's been a very interesting growing experience for me that I never ever anticipated in life.
Yeah, and that was that before the internet, like before online marketing? You developed this
Uh,
product?
no, my mother died in 1998,
Okay.
and after she passed away, I was given an opportunity to learn about internet marketing.
Mm.
But as you can imagine, it was definitely not what it is today. I
Yeah.
mean, people barely used computers. Um, emails, yes, but even emails, it took days. So, but I was given this opportunity. A company, and I can't even remember the name of the company, had some type of um, event where they spoke about what it would be like to sell product online. And so I signed up, and then I signed up with this company and a software package, but it was basically like build it and they will come, but they don't.
Mm. Oh no.
So I created a landing page, a very crude landing page. I mean, it didn't have a lot, but it was a landing page. And at that time, I still had the store. So it was a landing page about my business. And then over the years, I knew I could see that this was the way that things would be moving in. This was the future. And so I kept pursuing that goal of having a website. And at different times, I had landing pages that I created, and then I hired companies to then create something for me. And everything just kept evolving.
Yeah.
And I moved from point A to point B. And then at the beginning, you said that I was a serial entrepreneur,
Yeah.
which for sure. And I discovered network marketing,
Mm.
or MLM, as they used to call it. And I signed up with my first company that I signed up with, I wanted to learn how to put makeup on.
Mm.
So I signed up with a cosmetic company that's kind of sort of not even around anymore. Similar to some other companies that are out there today. And then from there, I that company got bought out. Then over the years, I was introduced to different products with different companies. So then I went from one company to the next, to the next, to the next, but always learning along the way.
Yeah.
And for business people, network marketing is one of the best educations you can have. Because if you look at the company and you look at what they're doing and what they're offering and how they're marketing, you can learn so much from that.
Yeah.
So that's what took me from company to company to company. And today, what I've done is I've taken what I've learned and incorporated that learning into my business and what I do with my product.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know I've been in direct sales myself over the years, and that's what really jump started me on the whole self-improvement process, because by being involved with those companies, that's a large part of it too. And like you say, the marketing and really looking at how they do their business can really help with the other kinds of businesses that we do. And I know for yourself, you are always evolving and doing something new. You obviously have a very forward thinking kind of person. And now you also have your own podcast, which is great. I love the topic. Where is it?
So
Oh,
the title of,
just wanted to
yeah,
ask. Sorry, I was looking, I knew it was something around there. Where did you come up with that? The title for that?
I heard somebody else's podcast, and one of the questions that this person asked was, originally, he said to someone, I don't understand. You're rich, I'm poor. I don't understand how that tell me, how did that happen? I just wanted to ask.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's my podcast. Just wanted to ask. So it's been very exciting for me. I interview business people, people with small businesses who want to get out on a broader stage, because business is my passion. And I know it's so hard for other business people to market themselves, give more depth to their marketing. And so by offering my podcast, I can invite people with small businesses, people with product, some authors, people with webinars and other products that they want people to know about. I invite them to be on my podcast, and that is so exciting for me. And I've discovered that that's truly a passion of mine. I
Yeah.
love helping people.
Yeah. And it's so fun. I mean, you learn so much by interviewing other people. So tell me maybe some tips, because you've, been interviewing people and you've been through the course of action yourself. I mean, you've been there from the beginning of online marketing, basically. And now I'm sure you're marketing your product online in a better way than, at the beginning, because things have totally evolved. Maybe some tips that you can share with listeners if they have a product that they'd like to market.
Well, everything changes every single day. There's so much out there, but I look at what a lot of different companies are doing, not necessarily in my own field. The lingerie field is great, but I don't just look at the people in the lingerie industry. I look at, I love what stores are doing. I love commercials on television. I love what people with different companies are offering. What are they offering? And how can I incorporate that into my own business? So, again, going back to network marketing, I was interested in learning how to do funnels and websites, because everybody needs a landing page, everybody needs a funnel, a website. And I signed up with a company, a very well known company, and I loved their energy, but I couldn't understand, there were things that were missing. I couldn't figure out the little pieces in the back. Everything wasn't connecting for me. And I would go and I would watch these videos. I spent a ton of time on YouTube trying to figure out where the pieces were. And then through a bunch of different circumstances, I was introduced to someone who said, well, this is the software system that I use. Check it out. And they had the support that I needed, the actual, they do live Zoom support. So that was what I needed to learn how to connect the pieces. And from there, I created funnels and websites and all of that. And I understand now how to do it. And it's made a big difference in my business and also my life, because when things get broken, I know how to fix them.
Yeah. Yeah. I know it can be tricky. There's a lot of pieces to all that technology for sure. That's good for you. Good for you. for figuring that out because that's a big piece for people. So tell me a little bit more about now. You've said you've done quite a few different direct selling companies over the years. You're onto a new one now. Had you been out of that industry for a while and just gotten back in, or or do you have other ones going on as well?
Excuse me. No, I think there are two groups of people that get involved with network marketing. One group gets in it for the discounts and the product,
Mhm.
and that's what I did for years. I kind of wanted to do the business, but I didn't really understand. I was involved with companies where successful people kept saying, well, this is what you need to do, but they never really told you how to do it. And so I would and I always had my own company.
Yeah.
So I would stick a toe into the waters and say, okay, fine. Well, I love the product. So I'll just keep buying the product. If I mention it to people, great. If I don't, I don't. For a while, I was involved with a company and I joined BNI, a
Mhm.
networking organization. That the company that I was representing was that door into network marketing because with my Bezi bra discs, that because it was a product, I couldn't use that in meeting other people and networking. So the network marketing end of it opened that door. So I got to meet a bunch of people and I could place myself in um, meetup groups
Right.
and networking groups. And I discovered I really loved that. I loved the networking. So from there, so that was one of the reasons I stayed involved with a multi-level company. And then then there were times when I needed to spend more time with my own company. And so the movement was fluid. So I ended up leaving BNI, although I absolutely loved BNI. I left BNI and then spent more time with my own company, seeing where I was missing different pieces.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
And
networking
now,
is great for meeting people and getting contacts, right?
right. So, but now I'm back into networking on a larger scale, representing yet another company, but also my own product and my podcast.
Yeah.
And so I've got the best of all possible worlds.
Yeah. Yeah. So, before we kind of wrap up here, what would be some tips that you would offer people? It could either be about, if they wanted to create their own product and launch a product or start in a direct selling company, maybe one tip for each.
Okay. With a product, the first thing you want to do is speak to an attorney who understands patents
Mm,
because you don't want to spend a lot of money developing something that you can't patent unless you want to just sell it on your own and not worry about it or and not worry about what might happen.
yeah.
And I think that was pivotal for me because I met a patent attorney who knew how to write the patent application. There are a lot of people who think they can do it on their own, but to tell you
Mm,
the truth,
yeah,
I truly believe that that's money well spent.
for sure.
So that's with product, and know that anything is possible,
Yeah.
no matter how crazy the idea. Anything is possible. And one of the events that I went to years ago, the first exercise was how many things can you do with a paper clip?
Mm,
And it opened my mind to all of the possibilities. And I think that's very, very important. With network marketing and multi level companies, they have a lot of the answers that we all need.
mhm.
Um, it's like going to college.
Yeah.
You're taking a class. Learn as much as you can, and then apply that learning to all aspects of your business and also your personal life.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Thanks for those tips and sharing. So happy to have you here today. If the listeners want to get in touch with you, I mean, we'll have all the info in the show notes, but what's the best way for them to reach you?
I have a landing page, annzuckerman.com. That has links to everything I do. Just wanted to ask.com is my podcast. And then bezzywoman.com has my product. But as I said, if you go to annzuckerman.com, you'll find all that information.
Well, that's awesome. Thanks so much, Anne. Thanks for sharing. And listeners, you've learned a lot today. We've got a couple of different topics, really. If you have an idea for a product, and you want to get out there and explore launching that out in the world, get in touch with a lawyer, check it out. And if you want to look at some direct sales, maybe you want a different business or something to do on the side, there's a lot of companies out there. They're very good with amazing products. Scope them out, check it out, because you know what? It's just never too late.